Fellas, in this video, I want to talk about why emotionally intelligent men have ice in their veins. All right, let's go ahead and get right into it. First off, I got to shout out Danny Vera. I got the inspiration for this video from his video. I think it was titled Why Men Need Ice in Their Veins with Women. Make sure you check out his channel, all right? But I wanted to come at it from a different angle, all right? You know, if you follow my channel, you know I talk about emotional intelligence quite a bit. I'm big on self-awareness, mindfulness, things like that, all right? So I wanted to take this approach to it where, first of all, let me clarify what I'm talking about when I say having ice in your veins, all right? By having ice in your veins, I do not mean being like cold-hearted. I don't mean being emotionless and being robotic and just kind of like being distant. That's not what I mean. It's kind of like the opposite is what I'm talking about. By ice in your veins, I mean being unfazed, being unbothered, not being swayed by people's perceptions and judgments and opinions of you. It's being able to detach from that type of stuff. That's what I mean by having ice in your veins. You're not bound by outcomes. You're not bound by expectations of others. You know, you were solid within yourself. And that leads me to this first tip that I wanted to hit on, where having ice in your veins, it means that you are solid. It means that you will not be knocked around by a strong gust of wind. And if you follow my channel, you know that I'm using that analogy quite a bit lately. But that's really what it means too. It means like you're not so easily knocked off your square. You're not knocked out of integrity so easily by things that come your way. And it's because you have a real strong sense of emotional intelligence and emotional maturity, which ultimately allows you to have control over your reactions and your responses to things. That's why this is so powerful, you know, not being swayed by things. You know, I think of like Tom Brady back when he was with the Patriots and when he had a 2-minute drive at the end of the game. Dude had ice in his veins. You see what I'm saying? Like he wasn't wavered by the situation around him, by the magnitude of the situation. Dude was going to drive down that field and get his team in a position to win the game. That's kind of what I'm talking about when I refer to emotionally intelligent men having ice in their veins. You're not discouraged by the magnitude of a situation that you might be in, you know? And this does play into when you're interacting with women, when you're out here dating, when women may go hot and cold with you and stuff like that. And it may have you questioning yourself. It may have you second guessing yourself, like what's wrong with me and things like that. But it's important to remember that shit don't matter, man. You know what I'm saying? You want to keep working on yourself, keep leveling yourself up, keep improving aspects of your life that contribute to you being a solid individual, being a solid man. You want to really highlight these types of things and keep focusing on these things, because when life throws you a curveball, you're not so like, oh shit, I don't even know how to handle this, and it just completely throws you for a loop. I used to deal with this a lot in my life too, because I didn't really possess like the emotional maturity that I should have probably possessed at that time in my life. You know, I was always kind of a cool, chill dude, but like in my relationships and when I got triggered and stuff like that, I just didn't have the emotional maturity. I didn't possess it. So a lot of things would knock me off my square. And by square, I mean knock me out of my integrity and have me acting out of character, have me yelling. And you know, at times I would fall into name calling with my partners and stuff like that. And just really unhealthy behavior that I had to really learn how to change. And that was a process in of itself. Okay. So I really want to just talk about having ice in your veins means you're able to remain solid when some shit gets thrown your way. Having ice in your veins also means being resilient. It means being able to bounce back from challenges in life quicker. Yeah, we're all going to have stuff that we deal with. We always going to have challenges, obstacles, hurdles. That's never ending. But as a man, you want to get to a point where you want to be able to learn from things. This is how I look at things. There's always a lesson in it. And something I like to live my life by is find the beauty in the bullshit. There's always going to be some BS getting thrown your way, and it can look a lot of different ways. You know, so it's being able to like not have a victim mentality, not look at life as how it's beating you down and this and that, even though sometimes it may feel like it's beating you down. But when you feel those moments of being beat down, man, you got to look at yourself and look at like, what can I improve on? What can I change? You know, and being able to find those lessons, find those little nuggets of growth. And I've learned that being resilient, being able to bounce back from things it's not easy to do. Because again, this is something that I struggle with. Everything that I'm sharing, I've struggled with. Being resilient was one of them. And I really learned this stuff when I was in my relationships, especially my most previous one. That one showed me a lot of myself and a lot of areas of growth that I need to really work on. And I remember I would get into like disagreements or have arguments or just stuff that you deal with in relationships, but it would have such an impact on me. It would have me overthinking. It would have me in my head. It would have me trying to like problem solve and fix. And it was to the point where I just really lacked resilience. I wasn't able to snap back real fast. I wasn't able to get back on track and able to get back on my square of integrity. It would take me like hours. It would take me days. I'd be so in my head about stuff. But that was before I started meditating. That was before I really started improving my self-awareness. That was what really showed me that I needed to work on this type of stuff. That was what showed me that, bro, you really lack some skills that you need to really start working on and stop being so weak. Stop letting things get the better of you. You know, you need to really work on that resilience. And it's funny, as I sit here and I share this video, you know, it takes me back to those moments, and I'm honestly really proud of myself as far as the work that I've done to be able to get to this point to make a video to share with you, because I know a lot of us men deal with this type of stuff. You know, especially when we don't know ourselves really well. That's why emotional intelligence is so important, because it really allows you to learn yourself, to learn your system, to learn when you're agitated, to learn when you're happy, when you're sad. And I don't mean just knowing when you're happy or sad. I mean like actually feeling what it feels like. Okay. And when you can feel and you can recognize when your body has shifted, when your attitude has shifted, when your mood has shifted, and you're not just taken away by the emotion, you really empower yourself, because now you have that power of choice. You can decide how you want to respond to any given situation, especially in your relationships. You can decide if you want to go off the handle and have to like get all rah. Like, hopefully you're not doing that, but you decide how you want to respond. And having the power to be able to decide is just, it's like a superpower. It's something that I had like unlocked, because I didn't realize that I had the power to do this. I would just get so taken by emotions that it was like that choice, I couldn't see it. It was never there. It was there, but I just couldn't see it. So I had to really start, you know, improving certain aspects so that I could see this, and just becoming more resilient is just a powerful thing, man. You know, you want to be able to, like I said, you're going to experience challenges in life, but you don't want them to knock you down for days and weeks and stuff like that. It may happen, but the more you can put awareness on what exactly is happening, the more you can work through things and counteract and apply tools and some of these tips that I'll be sharing in my video to help you kind of navigate these types of things so that life feels smoother. Life is not as heavy as it needs to be. Another way that emotionally intelligent men have ice in their veins is because we are able to detach from outcomes. I kind of touched on this in the beginning of the video, but detachment, this is very powerful as well too. Being able to detach from expectations, outcomes, judgments, opinions, all this shit, man, it allows you to stop taking things so personally in life. You see what I'm saying? If somebody says something to you, your coworker, and says something in a way that just hits you in a way, and you like, who the hell they think they are talking to me that way? You know, here you go, taking it personally. You see what I'm saying? So being able to detach from the impact of things is very key. This is another way that you'll have ice in your veins. This is another way that you'll be able to remain unbothered, unfazed. Now, when I say remaining unbothered and unfazed, don't get me wrong. We're all still human beings. You still gonna have shit that hits you in a certain way, and it's gonna trigger you. That's what I'm trying to like. I want to be clear on this. You're not going to become a robot. You're not like practicing emotional intelligence doesn't make you a robot to where you just don't have feelings. You just don't feel. No, you are more in tune and attuned to yourself so you can recognize when things are activating you. That's key, when you can recognize when you're activated. For me personally, I couldn't even recognize when I was getting activated. Like I said, it was just such an autopilot type of thing. It would be like something happens and I automatically react to it. There was like no space in between to process, to break down, to assess exactly why are you even pissed off, Bryce? What are you bothered about? You know what I mean? And when we have a lot of trauma and we have a lot of unprocessed shit that we haven't really worked through, that's what happens. Autopilot stuff. You just get taken away by the moment. You get taken away by the magnitude of the situation. Okay. So it's important to be able to like learn how to detach from things, how to stop taking things so personally. A book that really helped me, not to get on too much of a side tangent, but the 4 Agreements, man. I got some videos on that one as well too. I may leave a link to those videos in the description box. Check them out if it's something you're into. But the 4 Agreements, man. One of the agreements is don't take things personally. That was an eye opener for me because the way the book breaks it down, it really shows you what's happening when you're taking things personally. You know, how you're making everything about yourself, or you're attaching yourself to somebody's thoughts about you, somebody's perception of you, somebody's judgment and opinions of you. You're attaching to that because you're like believing it. So once you can learn that people's perceptions, people's expectations of you, that comes from their own shit. That comes from their conditioning, their life experiences. It ain't got nothing to do with you, even though it may feel like it has everything to do with you. It really has nothing to do with you. It's their own shit that gets projected onto you. So once you can understand that, you can start to detach from those projections from other people. This shit is not easy that I'm talking about. It takes a lot of work to be able to do this. But once you can do this, you will free yourself from the magnitude of certain situations. You see what I'm saying? They won't be as heavy anymore. You won't be trying to live up to people's expectations and opinions because you won't give a damn. You'll stop caring so much about it. We care too much about that shit. We care too much about what people think about us. And it just keeps you in a hole. It keeps you in a rut. Okay, so that's why it's so important to have ice in your veins. That's why it's so important to improve your emotional intelligence. Sorry, it's getting hot in my car. You know, that's why this is so key, because this is what separates men from boys. Little boys get butthurt over everything. I used to deal with this all the time myself. Overly sensitive, overly emotional. I wear my heart on my sleeve. You know what I'm saying? So if something used to happen to me, it had me all freaking in a emotional rut for however long. And I had to learn, like, man, you gotta grow out of that. I refer to it as like my inner bitch. I had to learn, like, your inner bitch can show up sometimes, man, and just want to take over a situation because you hurt. You know what I'm saying? So it's important to realize exactly what's going on inside of you, man. That is what is so key. Improve your emotional intelligence so you know what's going on inside of you, so you have more control of how you express things outside of you, if that makes sense, all right? And I want to circle back around to everything that happens to you in life is a lesson and an opportunity for growth. If you're looking at life like how things don't go your way, how you can't never catch a break, you're not going to be able to find the lessons in life. You need to start looking at it like, what can I take from this situation? This girl ain't responding to me in these text messages. We've been talking for a couple of weeks. The communication has slowed down. You know, what can I take from this? Are you being too needy and anxious? And are you coming from an anxious place in your messaging? Are you messaging too much? Are you putting too much time and attention into this woman? I'm using the dating scene as an example because I think it's something a lot of men can relate to, because we all like women. We all want to be connected with women. So I think that's something like a relatable type thing. That's why I'm using that as an example. You want to be mindful of, like, how am I showing up? What's my energy like? Am I coming from a place of neediness, thirstiness, like I ain't never seen a woman before? So you got to learn how to check yourself. You have to learn how to check in with yourself. You see what I'm saying? And when you are able to check in with yourself, that creates ice in your veins because you're in tune with yourself. You're not bothered by things. You're not bothered that the girl didn't text back in a certain amount of hours or a certain amount of minutes because you're still working on things in your life. You're not sitting around staring at the phone, waiting for a response. You still got to get to the gym and go work out. You still got to work your job. You still need to be working on something outside of that job to get you to the next level and try and find what your purpose is and what your passion is and what you really want to put your time and your energy into. So when you're sitting around worrying about other people and how they're not showing up, like that's time consuming, man. It's distractions, so it's really key to be able to find the beauty in bullshit, find the lessons in life. You're always going to be presented opportunities to find lessons for growth, areas in your life and blind spots in your life that you really may need to like start addressing and start working on. And that's where your time and energy needs to go to. If you get into an argument with your girl, you need to look at like, what's the lesson I can take from this? I need to learn how to tone it down. I need to learn how to take a break and walk away and not respond right away. These are things that I had to work on too. I was too impulsive with how I reacted to certain things. I didn't know how to take space and how to take time. These are things that we have to work on as men. These are masculine traits. These are masculine characteristics. This is what I mean by ice in your veins. This is what I mean by being unbothered, unfazed, going through life like you cool, calm, and collected. I can't be knocked off my square. Yes, I'm a human being. Yes, things gonna piss me off, bother me, but I don't have to show up all crazy about it. What's the term that the young boys use? I don't have to crash out about it. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on these things, man. Why emotionally intelligent men have ice in their veins. I wanted to really kind of break it down. And again, it don't mean being like some cold-hearted psychopath. That's not what it means. It means learning how to be unbothered, improve your self-awareness, improve your emotional intelligence, and empower yourself so that not everything that happens outside of you has such an impact on what's going on inside of you, because that's going to come out to the world. If you don't know how to control yourself, if you don't know how to manage what's going on within inside you, your emotional state, it's going to show up in the world, whether in a way of like maybe you're shutting down and you close yourself off, or maybe you go off and you cut somebody up. So it's important to improve your emotional intelligence. If this video provided you with any value, please hit that like button. It allows videos like this to reach more people that this can help. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to just help more men become more in tune with themselves, man. Make sure you check out my playlist on emotional intelligence. I'll be sure to leave it up for you. But again, I appreciate y'all, and I will see y'all in the next video. All right, peace.